Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So I'm Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. Yes, Bitcoin on the 4-hour. So there we have it. We didn't break above our, the most important macro level for basically the trend. The longer term trend, in my opinion. That is not to say we won't break above it. Ultimately, I think we will. Maybe even quite soon. But rejected at it at our first attempt, as you can see. So if we actually extend this horizontal along, we were kind of getting supported at that, at least initially, but back below there. So yeah, could we be finally at a period of medium term either sideways to down, just trading within this tight range here would be super bullish. If we hold above this horizontal here, that would be super bullish. If we consolidate there, move back towards 58,000, it would look pretty likely that we would break above and continue onwards and upwards. Obviously, breaking below this $53,000 level opens up the targets of 50,000 and potentially even around 48. Anything below this area here, 48,000, just below, we start to look not so good for a move, probably down to 40,000 again, and obviously then have to hold our breaths and hope we hold 40,000. But realistically, we should on the balance of probabilities, we'll be looking at a higher low. But that higher low has to be just relative to around 40,000, so it could come in anywhere. Obviously, super bullish targets for the higher low would be around this $53,000 level. But either way, a bit of sideways to down. Maybe the altcoins can start to climb their way out of the dumpsters. If we do want to go and have a look at Ethereum, it is just about holding above this important level of horizontal support. This would be a good one for it to hold, rather than actually coming all the way down to these lows. Just because overall it will just look better than coming to test the full bottom of the range. But obviously, if Bitcoin does either break down aggressively or break up, this will get hit. But whilst we are in the sweet spot for alts to actually start to regain some of their losses, basically, where they're ready to take their one step forward after taking 2 steps back. So yeah, that's basically what we're looking at here. But yeah, as long as we hold here, quite clear downward sloping trend line, which we're actually right up against now. So we could actually see a nice acceleration in Ethereum if it is to in this Satoshi pairing. Basically, if we are to break above here, we look at the USD pairing. It is also just about holding an important horizontal support level, so it would be nice to see it bounce off here. And then yeah, we could get acceleration. We could get the Ethereum Satoshi pairing, and obviously the dollar value then starting to get moving. Yeah, if we have a look at the Bitcoin dominance as a whole, you can see that is coming down. That is coming down. I think realistically, it's not really going to look particularly actually bearish, this chart. So obviously good for alts relative to Bitcoin until we get back below around this level here. Around this area, but yeah, nonetheless, having a nice pullback, which is what we want to see, because it has been a painful few weeks for all us altcoin aficionados. So yeah, we have got some pretty serious warning signals coming from Finance 1.0. Firstly, we have the IMF reducing basically its GDP forecasts, no doubt, because they just see what is going on, and two, obviously increasing inflation, which obviously inflation is an input into the GDP number, into its core deflator. And then also we have we have multiple things. We have the Atlanta Fed chief, Bostic. He is basically saying that this inflation isn't, he's basically, we're paraphrasing, is saying this inflation isn't transitory. and yeah, so therefore he's adjusted his dot plot, so he is obviously he's basically coming to speed with what the market is seeing. And then also then on top of all that, we have actually Fed's Clarita, where he's basically the number 2 at the Fed. He is saying that obviously in light of the inflation that obviously they're having to basically admit isn't transitory, they are looking at basically and I have to laugh when I say this because it's so hilarious because they can't do it basically. They're on about basically completing the tapering in mid next year, which obviously is hilarious. They haven't been able to stop QE since basically they started it in 2008. So if they think they're going to stop this tapering by the mid of next year, then that is funny. It is funny. It's funny to think that they say that. They are just clowns. They are literal clowns. But yeah, so obviously that is not a good. That is not a good thing for the market if it was to happen. But like I've just said, it ain't happening. It isn't happening. They aren't able to do it. It ain't happening. But so what we could, whilst we have all these particularly bearish things going on, affecting Finance 1.0, we've got to just bring ourselves to the fact that these are just markets. The markets are there for trading, and it's just a game. And we have the old buy the rumor, sell the fact. So whilst ever the Fed basically, I mean, this is the irony of the situation. Whilst ever the Fed, IMF, everybody, Fed cheese people, just Finance 1.0. Just goons are basically saying ridiculous stuff like inflation's transitory, for example. Then you kind of just gotta go with the fact that they're going to keep markets they're going to keep markets just the easing going on, and then markets will have a great time. Obviously, when inflation starts to rise, and then they have to then start to react to that and say, okay, maybe it's not transitory, we're going to have to do something. The bad news then kind of becomes good news, because if the Fed does something, it's going to absolutely hammer the actual economy, and then obviously we expect bond yields to go back down, and that is obviously how they are measuring inflation. So yeah, and obviously if the IMF is even saying that growth is they're cutting their growth forecast, then yeah, obviously so basically what's going to happen is you're then going to front run the fact, basically, you sort of front run the fact that the Fed is going to have to do something eventually, which was here, when the Fed then actually says it's going to do something because inflation's gone haywire, or they're just admitting it, or just admitting that they can see it, see what everyone else can see. Then obviously they're going to end up messing everything up if they even try to do anything, and then at which point bond yields tank again, and then yeah, inflation, and then obviously growth is going to struggle, which is going to be a downwards pressure on inflation anyway. I know we can obviously get stagflation, but and then just back to the inflation thing. I mean, to a certain extent, some things are potentially transitory, because they are basically they are Politburo not central command economy, command and control economy. What is the words I'm looking for? Yeah, anyway, you know what I mean, where basically, why can't I think of the word? Anyway, so basically, a lot of these things are caused by it. So for one, obviously, there's restrictions for travel and things, which are obviously which are disrupting supply chains. There is also, I mean, if we do look at basically the energy sector, and oil prices in particular, nat gas prices, I mean, they are caused by things that are caused by basically government responses to the pandemic. But the main problem is for energy prices is that there's this whole do you know, the leftist socialist agenda, just those clowns that literally just want to usher in communism, and maybe just end the lives of another few million people, or a few hundreds of million people worldwide. Those guys, they basically are a bit fixated on this green energy thing, and the reason why they're fixated on this green energy thing, because it's just another way to control people, because they just want to be in full control of everything. It's just a way to control people. But But so the active measures they have taken, such as preventing new pipelines being drilled and whatever, and also preventing just discouraging investment in the sector, is obviously now feeding into higher prices, and will basically feed into high prices in a secular way going forwards. And then they will use that as an excuse for saying, look, well, we need to get off these fossil fuels because look, the price is going up. The prices are going up because you guys are making them go up with your BS. And if you weren't doing that, the prices wouldn't be going up. So that is one thing that is causing inflation. So if they stop doing that, if we just start investing in things, if you start investing in, say, even nuclear, I mean, they hate nuclear as well. If they start investing in, say, nuclear, then yeah, and then obviously the energy problem is not going to be a problem, and there's not going to be that inflation. That is just self-made Politburo inflation. And also then let's also talk about this conspiracy subject. So we can actually see how the media works. The media will take inflation they've caused when it benefits them and say, look, we need to get off fossil fuels because prices going up, but they don't mention the fact that they are causing it. And then obviously when we've got problems in the job market, I don't know how much you guys have seen about the Southwest airline thing, because obviously it's not really been widely spoken about, because it goes against obviously the leftist socialist control agenda of just vaccinations and all that cool stuff. I probably shouldn't even said that word. And yeah, and passports linked to such things, and just general more control. What is happening with what is pretty obvious is happening to Southwest Airline is that the staff are just saying if you're gonna require that I get poked, basically, then I'm just not going to work. And then they're having to cancel thousands of flights, and the planes are grounded. So obviously the media isn't telling you that it is because, and they're just denying it. They're just saying, well, they're actually saying it's, well, they started off saying it's because of weather, and now worker shortage, which worker shortage is obviously is true, but they're not telling you the reason of it. That is pretty much going to feed through to other industries, other companies, and also once people start to realize what is going on, because obviously it's getting suppressed by the media, then that is going to embolden other people to say, do you know what, I'm not getting it. You can basically jog on, you can just make that a requirement of my job. I will quit, and you will basically not be able to function as a company. Obviously, so basically what I'm trying to say, that is inflationary. That is obviously wage inflationary, price inflationary, because obviously you have to pay the people that are happy to work and get poked, pay them more money, and then obviously because of the disruption, prices go up. So that is inflationary, and that is obviously caused by the same left-wing socialist authoritarian based people that just want full control over everyone and everything, because they think they know best. They think they know better than free market economies. They think their command and control economy is basically is better with the government intervention, and they don't like free markets. They don't like free markets because they don't like free will, basically. And they don't like people's independence. They just want to be in control. Wow, this is an absolute massive rant this morning. Oh, we're only on 30 minutes, so it's not too bad. But anyway, so basically what I'm saying is we have got a lot of the inflationary forces are basically man-made. So it's not even a case of the Fed needs to stop doing what it's doing, because it can't stop doing what it's doing. It's just actually a case of the left-wing socialist leaning. Well, they're not even leaning. They're very far swung. Basically, people to stop with their BS that is obviously causing havoc. In the economy. And particularly with prices and wages and just everything. So right, let's have a look at those Bitcoin stochastics. Let's see how we are doing here. So yeah, 4 hour coming down. So yeah, 4 hour coming down here. So we could see obviously downward pressure from that. I suspect midterm ones are definitely coming down here now as well, coming down quite aggressively, but we shall see. Yeah, 10 hour dipping and coming down here, 12 hour just about turning down, gonna lose basically this top zone. Daily pointing down here as well, but still pretty high up. And then obviously the higher time frames we know is still gonna be looking good. Even, well, sorry, 5-day looking good, but weekly is turning down from here as well, and then bi-week looking good, and monthly will ultimately, providing we hold around here and don't come down too aggressively, will turn back up. But kind of is looking like some sideways to down. Maybe the action will be in the altcoin market. Yeah, it is interesting times. Basically, whilst the Fed has its blinkers on, we can expect everything to go up until inflation gets too high. When the Fed then actually speaks, they are ultimately just gonna cause problems, which is then probably just gonna cause bond yields to go down and inflation go down. So we could be obviously hitting the point where stock markets can recover. Properly and hit all-time highs and resume their crack-up boom, based on the fact that the Fed can't and won't do anything. So yeah, it is an interesting time. Q4 is still on track in my opinion, regardless of this current short-term news cycle. Still on track for new all-time highs. It is nice to see Bitcoin has done well in the face of it. But as I do keep saying, I think a lot of this is ETF driven, as because we even see other cryptos have not necessarily enjoyed a big massive run up like this from the $40,000 level. So yeah, interesting times. It is going to certainly be an interesting Q4. It is obviously the Q where the Q where a lot of the business is done. People do their obviously their highly illegal year-end markups and things like that. So you know, got to paint some charts, manipulate some markets, lock in some gains, and then you know how it is, get those fat bonus, fat paychecks. So yeah, there we go. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys soon.